Well, it's that time of the month again. Not that time of the month, you sick people out there. No, it's once again time to talk about ARC thoughts. Since the beginning of this January of 2020, I have been monthly giving out my thoughts on on an arc of One Piece from the very beginning up till now. And so now, last month, we went to quite possibly the funniest arc in the series, being Long Ring, Long Land. And, this arc takes a complete 180. But it is the beginning of a brilliant saga. This is Water 7, the 15th arc of the One Piece series. And it's actually not that long of an arc. I think it was like, I think at least 20 or so anime episodes. Or somewhere akin to that line. Anyway, I forget how many manga chapters it is too, but my point is, this arc really sets the tone for this saga that we are currently in right now, which is also called the Water 7 saga. So, the Straw Hats go to Water 7 because the ship, the Going Merry, is in need of repairs. However, if you are a One Piece fan, you know Water 7 doesn't end well for the Going Merry. In fact, the Straw Hats get there only to learn that the Merry is nigh unrepairable. I mean, it done great getting the Straw Hats as far as they got to at that point. But the Grand Line is a harsh place. And it's just going to destroy anything. And a ship of Mary's caliber just can't go anymore. So, Luffy had to make the hard decision to part ways with the Merry and get a new ship, which did not sit well with Usopp, who, this is easily the best that Usopp has been handled throughout the entirety of the series. Because, after what happened in Alabasta, I liked Usopp, I had a better respect for him, but I still only kind of tolerated him a little bit. This was brilliant. I mean, the Going Merry was given to Luffy and the crew in Usopp's village, Syrup Village. So the fact that they're parting ways with Merry is just sad. And Usopp doesn't want to handle that because, he doesn't want to abandon the ship that got them there so far. He even has the crazy idea of challenging Luffy to a duel, which, as try as he might, he never really stood a chance at all. Which forced Usopp to part ways with the Straw Hats. And it's easily a very dark moment. Another dark moment is what happens with Nico Robin in the background. Because her past is slowly coming to fruition to the point where, it's at that point, the government finally figures out who she is, and they want to take her away. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I want to talk about the beauty, because Water 7, well, here's the thing. If you ever read or watch One Piece, there is a lot of iconic imagery in that series. Water 7 is no exception. It's sort of a knockoff of a sort of Venice type area, lots of water, which, funny, a series involving pirates, never really do get enough water, do we? Anyway, it's a very beautiful city, Italian architecture, but, there's some identity to it in of itself as well. And now we talk about when they're taking away Nico Robin, because, holy cow, CP9 to this day, CP9 are still considered one of the best villains of the series. And there's a reason why. Because their introduction is terrifying. At least, it's terrifyingly great. Because, here's the thing. The Straw Hats now are without 2 crew members, and they're facing these guys who, how do I explain this? the Straw Hats have dealt with insurmountable odds before, such as Luffy with Crocodile. But with Crocodile, once Luffy figured out what his weakness was, he was brought down to Luffy's level. With CP9, however, they have no weakness. You just only need to be stronger than they are. Which sounds easy on paper, but these guys have superhuman abilities. They literally have what were dubbed in English the 6 powers. Which, if I remember correctly, there's Shave, Moonwalk, Iron Body, Tempest Kick, Finger Pistol, and I know this, hold on. Shave, Finger Pistol, Iron Body. Gosh, there's one I'm legitimately missing right now. I can't. Oh, Paper Arts. That's what it is, Paper Arts. And every single one of those abilities give them abilities to essentially fly, become impenetrable to attacks, all that stuff. And it's terrifying. And their introduction, because when they appear first, they're in full costume. And the scary part is, when they reveal who they really are, we've actually seen these characters before. 2 of them are shipwrights that we'd seen previously. 1 was a secretary that we'd seen previously. And the other one's a bartender that we've seen previously. And guess what? They were all government agents the whole time. Giving you a nice sort of espionage spy type feel too. Seriously, look up CP9 after this. You will not be disappointed, just how terrifying they are. And I can't talk about Water 7 without talking about the potential crewmates that are going to... You see, Iceberg's is Iceberg going to be a crew member? Or Polly? Is Polly going to be a crew member? Even Kaku, who, spoiler alert, was a member of CP9, I thought would be a great, character as well. Straw Hat as well. But no. Honestly, though, I'm glad it turned out that Kaku was a member of CP9 because, come on, 2 long noses are better. The Straw Hats can't handle 2 characters with more than 1 long nose, am I right? Anyway, then we get into quite possibly the heart and soul of Water 7, which is Frankie, who, spoiler alert, does become a new member of the Straw Hats. And it's funny, his introduction was, he was an antagonist, but then when you hear his backstory, man, you just feel for the guy. He's a Straw Hat now, and he is mostly for comedy relief, with quite a bit of action as well from here and there. But for the most part, it really does show how much of a complete 180 he took after this arc, after you hear his backstory. Because, he and Iceberg trained under the legendary Tom the Shipwright, who built the Oro Jackson. Oh, don't know what the Oro Jackson is? It was the ship of Gold D. Roger himself. So, needless to say, when you hear about Frankie's backstory, you know kind of why it is what it is. But, in the end, it was fun. But, the arc really does not, it doesn't end well for the Straw Hats in this arc. They don't have a ship at that point. 2 of their crew members are gone. They're dealing against enemies that seem wildly too powerful to take on. What are they going to do? Well, luckily, there is still some time. And not next month, but the month after, the Straw Hats get their revenge. But for now, how about we all aboard the Sea Train for next month? Like, favorite, share, the subscribe button, follow me on social platforms, on YouTube, and very home this video for all of you guys watching. Don't forget, hopefully you had a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I just did this after I did my video earlier. So, they're essentially back to back. Thought I better get them over with. And remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, we'll be here at the London Videos right back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.